Welcome back to Birdie Free Golf. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening to us. This week we are going to talk about the match 5, Bryson versus Brooks, and we're going to talk a little Tiger Woods and go from there. I'm with Brady as always. What's up, man? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Your week been good?
Oh yeah, it's been awesome. Got to go home and finally get back and see some family for Thanksgiving and hunt a little bit. Took my wife hunting for the first time, probably the last time.
Yeah, she didn't seem to enjoy it too much.
No, she got a little cold. I think it was partially because she didn't listen to me as far as layering up. And it's also probably because my gear is a lot better than her. All of her stuff was borrowed. But she just wasn't outfitted properly.
I got you.
Yeah, we saw a few does, and I think we got around to playing some golf too. Me and you played Sunday with one of our buddies, Grayson.
Yeah.
And my dad, and both played pretty well.
Yeah.
For cold and conditions and whatnot, and then played a little bit yesterday.
We did.
It was not so great.
It was cold.
It was really cold. If you haven't seen our last little post, it's nothing long or anything, but go on our Instagram and Facebook and check it out. Very cold conditions. Let's just say that. There is a video of me on a green, and it is very, very cold. And you can tell.
Yeah.
But
yeah, for sure. By the way, I don't know if you realize this or not. I know that we had to skip through a couple holes on the back 9 just so we could finish up, before dark. But I was even through the back 9. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I knew you had a couple birdies, birdies at that.
2 birdies and a couple pars and a couple bogeys. But
it's all right.
And when we and any amateur golfer just knows how this is, but you can have a rough round, and that one shot on 18 always brings you back. But I finally like that last shot I hit, gap wedge in, at 100 and a few yards or whatever, was about the best that I've ever struck a golf ball. And I'm itching to get back out there for sure, but. Yeah.
Yeah, we got you working on some things. I think that it's going well and it's working, and we're in the right direction.
I think so. I think just heading that way. My wedge game's been pretty good here lately.
Yeah. I'll take all the credit, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really has nothing to do with me, but I take all the credit.
It's not like I just sit here watching hours and hours of golf content my whole life. So
that's right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we had a couple good rounds, really. I mean, playing some pretty good golf for wintertime. I mean, wintertime's not a time that you look to really score. You just kind of look on working on your game when you can, and hitting some fairways and a couple greens and rolling the ball pretty well. So, we'll keep on playing, see how that goes. We're going to have to find some warmer weather before too long.
And let's address this, okay? We've been saying we're having some content come out, and we are working on some stuff, but it has been absolutely hectic for myself and for you lately.
Yeah.
We've just been super busy and haven't been able to link up, and do this sort of interaction. And even tonight, we're in separate locations, but we are working on some golf stuff, working on some content. We have a trip coming up in a few months that's going to be epic, and we're going to do a lot there. So stay tuned with us. Stay patient with us. We're trying. We're in a hard season right now to be out playing golf and doing some content because it is freezing cold where we're at. And, honestly, with the lows being in the 20s to start out with, and even like the highs only getting to 50, if where we're at, if the greens are frozen, like they don't even let us play. So they don't even open up. So getting this content out and working around this weather has been a big deal. So bear with us.
Yeah. And I think it's good if you are listening to, leave us a comment and let us know, especially through the wintertime, of what you want to hear. Is it Is it PGA Tour content? Is it, ways that we can help potentially make your game better? I think, even for me, just with working with Brady I probably shaved 10 strokes off my game this season.
At least.
Yeah.
You had like when we started playing, you were shooting in the hundreds and you shot one round sub 80.
Yeah.
And then it went to heck for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think we both agreed that you were just trying to do too much and progress too fast.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I think now that we've had some trial and error, you're coming back around and you're back in that 10 to 15 shot range. So
yeah. And
there's little things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that just some small tips to help you out to all of our listeners, I think is good. So that may be some content that you want to hear from us, and we're obviously going to try to continue getting some interviews here soon, and we definitely want to talk to a couple people, and I think you'll really enjoy that content as well. So just keep your eyes open. We're going to try to get it out as soon as we can. But moving on to, we wanted to talk about the match. The original idea of the match was with Phil and Tiger. Obviously, that was the first match that we saw. It was on pay-per-view. You could watch it on Bleacher Report. And the idea of that is amazing. And
it was great.
And for me, this is why. Number one, there's no commercials in a pay-per-view, the first pay-per-view of the match. And so the most interesting thing for me in golf is like what's happening in between shots. What are the players saying to one another? What are they thinking about? What's going through their mind as they're walking up to that
caddies
shot?
Discussion.
Absolutely. The discussion that they're having with caddies, because you just hit a shot, you have a pretty good idea of what your next shot's going to be like. And so I'm sure they're talking about those things as they're walking to the ball. And then just the for lack of better terms, just the BS that's taking place in between. What are players talking about? What are they saying to each other? To me, that's the most exciting part of golf. Like we see, obviously, they're tour players. Like they're going to play well. They're going to hit great shots. But what's going on in between? And so I love the idea of the match and it being on pay-per-view and hearing all that. Well, since then, like we just haven't gotten anything close to that. And it's so frustrating to me. And it
gets worse and worse.
Worse, yeah. Like this was a 12-hole match, this last one between Bryson and Brooks, and I'm just like, it's only 12 holes. TNT has absolutely taken over this mess. They're on normal televised. Like I'll pay the $20 to see it on pay-per-view just to see all the other stuff without commercials. So we're getting these commercial breaks. And then I just don't think players are going to say the things that they normally would say, being on normal TV. So I'm kind of frustrated. Yeah.
So did this one? I didn't get around to watching all of the match. I caught clips from other people and online and kind of watched the highlights. Was this a paid thing? Did you have to pay for like a TNT thing, or was it just aired live?
It was aired live on TNT.
See, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a special, like not only is it a special event and a well-anticipated event, it should have been 18 holes.
Yep.
Like straight up. And then it should have been a paid event for if anything, the sole, purpose to feed some money to a charity or to something. They didn't do anything to raise money in that regard for something. And it was just like, and then of course, if you're not paying for something like that, there's going to be regulations and stipulations to where they can't say what they want to. They can't act the way they want to. I don't know, just a big disappointment really, like on my end.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm the same way. The only thing they really did, like they had sponsored par 3 holes where, closest to the pin, they would give money to charity in that regard. The long drive competition that they did after the 12 holes, they gave money toward that. And really Bryson just like gave more money just to show off his long drives. But that's really about it. But I'm like, if you charge $10 a person, or $20 a person even for this event. I think you can raise a whole lot more money for that and just get better content, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. That was kind of frustrating to me. But it was well anticipated. You had Bryson and Brooks kind of facing off head to head finally. It ended in an absolute beatdown. It wasn't close. Brooks Koepka was, he said that it was his major to Bryson at one point, and it just kind of proves to us, I think, that when somebody sets out to say, well, Brooks can't do this, or, Brooks isn't healthy enough to play well, or it's a major, Brooks can play. I mean, he shows up. He's kind of got that like Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, just clutch gene, where he just like makes something up in his head and he just goes out and gets it, and he definitely did that well. And so that's how that ended. But, I mean, it was a beatdown. Oh,
yeah. I think the quote that you had brought up where he said, it's kind of my major, is when Bryson, I don't even know when that was in the match. It might've been on the last hole. Mm-hmm. He was like, dude, like, why the heck do you not play like this at every event? Mm-hmm. Like, and he said, I don't know. It's kind of my major right now. I just really wanted to spank you, pretty much is what he said. And you watch Brooks and the way he operates, and he wanted to say a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And I know as fans, we desire, dude, we're not stupid. Okay. I play golf. I'm one of the absolute worst with having a mouth on the golf course. Mm. And like letting words fly. And I'm not saying that makes the event, but the rawness and the realness of emotion for events like that are what make it, and I know there's been tour players in the last season or two that have gotten in trouble for things that they've said. I mean, even things like Justin Thomas, mm-hmm. That whole spiel with him. And I'm like, yeah, what he said was probably not the nicest thing, but it's exactly what was going through his head. And mm-hmm. I'm almost 100% positive. He's like, if he hadn't have lost any sponsors, he would not have felt sorry about it.
Yeah.
Like, he can say what he wants to.
Yeah.
But I mean, I say stuff about myself all the time, call myself a freaking idiot. Mm-hmm.
And worse.
Yeah. And worse, obviously I'm censoring on this. I'm trying to be child friendly in the case that we have any young golfers watching us. But like, I mean, it's just the realness of it that I appreciate. And I've always said, even with basketball events, dude, I love it hearing like through the microphone when people say, like, yell it or talk smack to one another. Like, imagine being back in the day with a Michael Jordan or a Larry Bird, dude, and them dudes being mic'd up and you being able to hear them on court, what they're saying to guys. Like, I would love that. Mm-hmm. And I think even a pay-per-view event is still censored by sponsors.
Yeah.
But when you take an organization like TNT that is available for everyone to see, young, old, it doesn't matter. Like, you're going to get that censorship that really takes away from the emotion of that event. Mm-hmm. And it's a huge letdown for myself, for golfers, and really the direction that they're going to take this, because they set it up initially with the Tiger Phil match to be an excellent avenue to do these sort of events and matches and stuff. And it's really just nosedived, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we're not saying, I mean, the language doesn't have to be filthy. Like, there can be smack talk without filthy language. However, just the space to be able to say, I think like even Tom Brady said, to Charles Barkley, like, suck at Charles after he hit that wedge shot in the hole or something. But, I'm not saying it has to be filthy, but like just some kind of emotion being shown. But yeah, no, you're right. As far as just the rivalry between the two, you feel like it lived up to the hype? Did you feel like it was kind of a letdown, or just, what did you think?
Huge letdown.
Yeah.
Like, it just wasn't. Like, I don't know if it was the censorship. I don't know if it was the broadcasting. I don't know, like, if it was just the way the match was set up, with it being just a couple holes or whatever. Like, it just, I don't think it gave them the opportunity to have the event that they wanted to have. I think if Brooks would have had it, he would have loved for it to be 36 holes so he could have just beat him at 30.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, if we're honest, like, for that event, I would have loved to just been like, y'all were playing 18 holes. There's no, you win 10 and, you know, whatever. Like, you play every hole, and if he beats you 18-0, he beats you 18-0, and he's going to talk crap to you.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I would have loved to see.
Yeah.
Because I would have loved to see Brooks in his next press conference interview being asked about playing Bryson. Him like, I absolutely spanked that joker 18-0, and there was not a dang thing he could do about it.
Yeah.
Like I think that would have been way better. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm with you. No, I agree. And really, like, Bryson DeChambeau is not a trash talker. Like, he has, like, I think he just needs to stick with his goofiness and science mind and just do that.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't need to be on that stage doing those things.
Sure.
He does have those one-liners, like the whole cleats incident with Brooks. And a lot of people didn't catch it, but, you know, as he's walking by, he's like, you got to start it out on the right line, you know, talking about putts. Like, that's funny, you know? And so
that's great.
If he could have just jabbed those one-liners in every once in a while, I think it would have been fine. I didn't feel like Brooks would say a whole lot. I felt like he just wanted to beat him on the golf course, and it showed.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. But, like, Bryson kept saying and kept making excuses of, I just haven't played a lot of golf. I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but I just haven't played a lot of golf. And he said it like 5 times. I'm like, at this point, it is an excuse. But why wouldn't you play golf?
Well, it's a lie, too, because if you look at the dude's YouTube channel, he's posting stuff every single day, and he's hitting 1 billion golf balls on the range.
Yeah.
Like, you might not be playing. Like, for a guy like me, like, when I say when my game is in shape, it's because I'm playing a lot of golf.
Sure.
I don't go to the range. I don't go chip and putt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I might a little bit before the round, but, like, when I'm playing my like most solid golf and I've got things in tune, it's because I'm playing a lot on the course. When those guys are on it, it's because they're spending a lot of time on the range.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because they're playing a lot of golf. And Brooks can talk as much crap as he wants to, saying, "Oh, I don't play, but in the majors, you know, I don't. If you see me on TV playing golf, that's when I play golf." I'm like, the dude's getting practice in. He's not that freaking good without practicing. Like, he's just not. And I'm, you know, if they've played any sort of collegiate golf, they've had a ton of experience practicing and whatnot. But Bryson's playing golf. That was not the excuse. The excuse is he had a guy who come out to play and started thumping him right away, and it just threw him off.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, I agree. You know, obviously Brooks has been playing too, and what a week for him as well of moving into Strixon and Cleveland Golf as a sponsor for him. He hadn't done any kind of club sponsorship until now. He's with Strixon. He went out there, used his clubs, and absolutely beat the brakes off of Bryson. So what a week for him and Strixon, and that was kind of cool.
Strixon and Cleveland are figuring it out.
Yeah,
finally.
Mm-hmm. Even to the point of drivers for Strixon. Apparently, like I've seen a couple of reviews. Their new driver's not bad. Yeah,
I know we talked a little bit this weekend, but like I personally know a guy who deals in Strixon in Cleveland, and I've seen and tested different stuff that they have on the market. And like even my dad, he had played with the same clubs for probably 10 years, I would say close to 10 years. And like just got him a new set of Strixon. I think they're the ZX5.
ZX5. Yeah.
Yeah. Phenomenal. Phenomenal irons. Like almost to the point where I'm like, I wish I had some, even though I just bought some a couple of years ago, but I'm like, yeah, they're outstanding. I've always said the Strixon balls are great. I think they compare, for me, they perform just as well as a Pro V1 in my opinion. But yeah, I think Brooks is just, he comes off as a guy like that though. He comes off as a guy who would take a sponsorship like a Strixon and say like, I'm not with Titleist. I'm not with Team TaylorMade. Like, I'm just going to beat the brakes off of you with these Strixons,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Well, and two, I doubt that he wants to do all the extra media stuff that TaylorMade does. Sure. You know, TaylorMade, they have a lot of video and content out that.
And those guys sell it.
Oh, for sure.
They sell it.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I think some good things to the match though. I thought the long drive competition at the end was okay. Brooks did say to give Bryson a compliment at the end. He's like, I've never been on a tee box with Bryson, and it is pretty incredible of the swing speed that he's getting. So Brooks actually did compliment him in that way, and I thought that was good. I like that Charles Barkley and Phil Mickelson were commentating with them. However, I think they just got to mic those guys up and let them walk to each hole with them. Like, I think it's just them being in the booth saying things into their earpiece is kind of dumb. Yeah. If they were on the course, I think it'd be really cool. And it was funny, like, seeing Phil and Bryson talk about these crazy, like, scientific things, and then Charles Barkley being like, what? He just didn't understand. He's like, let me put it to you in my terms. And so it's kind of funny. But so those things were good, but I just wish they would go back to the pay-per-view match. Like, let's see everything. Yeah. Let's see what they're thinking about. Let's hear what they're talking about. I think that just only benefits the average golfer of just hearing how tour pros, how they think and how they're approaching that next shot. I think could go a long way for golf. But overall it was okay. It's kind of a letdown, but it is what it is.
I would love to see, like, the golf events that I know you would love to see and that we enjoy watching already. Like, I would even love to see, like, what the foreplay guys do on a pay-per-view event. Yeah. Like a big event with them. Like, if it was a Brooks Koepka or like as much as I love a Joel Damon or a Pat Perez, like, they're not a Brooks Koepka. Mm-hmm. They're not a Rory McIlroy. Yeah. They're not a Justin Thomas. They're not a Jordan Spieth. Like, I would love to see those guys on a pay-per-view event. And it's not just drone footage and B-roll. It's like walking to the holes, riding in the carts. Like, those guys, they've got their niche. Like, they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. It's incredible content, but, like, I would love to see the in-between more with these pro guys. If they're going to do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like Riggs from Foreplay and Justin Thomas were kind of getting into it at the Ryder Cup, because Riggs was like, we see this all the time. The U.S. is supposed to be some superior team, but they don't have the good, like, team camaraderie that the Europeans have. And at the end, of course, the U.S. smoked them in the Ryder Cup. And we've talked about that. But at the end, like, he and Justin Thomas kind of, like, jokingly exchanged words after. And so I think Justin Thomas could be a real contender to be on there against the scramble. I think that would be really good, because Justin Thomas he can talk trash, man. He's pretty good on the mic. So for sure, I'd love to see that. But yeah, that stuff, like, I stay up and watch on YouTube, that's the stuff that I enjoy. Whereas the match could be a good thing, but they've got to lose this TNT stuff. Anything else about the match? We'll move on to Tiger Woods for a couple minutes.
I think we need to move on to Tiger Woods. I'm over the match.
Yeah. Move on.
I'm over.
Yeah, wait for the next one. So Tiger Woods has had a couple interviews. Of course, he had like a 3-second video of him swinging a golf club last week. He's had a couple interviews this week. He is the host of the Hero Challenge PGA Tour event that's happening in a couple days in the Bahamas. And so he had a couple interviews this week for that. Just, I don't know, based on you had a couple quotes, but just based on his comments, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I just, like, ultimately, just to sum it up, if you've not seen the footage or you've not seen anything about these interviews. So he did one yesterday with, I believe it was yesterday, maybe the day before yesterday, with a reporter from ESPN, just one-on-one, and kind of alluded to some of the things that he said in the press conference. But ultimately, he just said, like, he would never be a full-time PGA professional again. Like his days of touring, playing the 25 events or whatever that they are required would just not be him. It would not be his career. He realizes what his body has been through. He realizes how many mountains he's climbed physically and emotionally and spiritually to get back to playing caliber. And he's like, I can't do it anymore. Like I'm not there. I understand it. I accept it. But ultimately, quote, he will never play full time again. Yeah. And so, and then another quote, it's an unfortunate reality, but it's my reality is what he said in the press conference today. And so, obviously sad to hear about his situation, but like seeing his swing, seeing that video go viral, and obviously everybody behind him, the dude's been through it. He's the greatest golfer arguably that's ever lived, and has done incredible things for the game and will continue to do incredible things for the game. So I just hope he can get back to the point. I think he alluded to, and what I heard was like, he can go and he can play right now. Mm. His stamina is just not there. He's like, I don't know if I could go walk, or he's like, I know I can't go walk 18 holes and play.
Yeah.
If I was in a cart, I might could ride and play a hole and do that sort of thing. But he's like, I'm just not there yet and won't be for a while. It'll be a while. Yeah.
And he has played a couple golf holes, but not playing to his tee box typically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a pretty sad reality for golf fans. Yeah. Whether you like Tiger or you hate him, I mean, it's one or the other. There is no in between.
Yeah.
He's obviously done a lot for the game of golf. And when you see in a game where guys are supposed to be able to play forever, you know, his career kind of cut short because of an accident, and you know that things like that happen. But it is kind of sad to see, you know, and he's still chasing Jack in majors, and everybody was hoping he'd come back and win another one, you know, but was unlikely anyway. But yeah,
ideally, what would have been my desire for Tiger is after the year of winning the Masters, after the year of winning East Lake, winning the Tour Championship or whatever, I would have loved to see him retire and be like, I'm playing Champions Tour events. I'm working, like I'm getting to that point. I'm going to play Champions Tour events and be honorary member, or play in the majors, essentially, be an honorary member to the PGA Tour. Mm-hmm. That's what I would have loved to see. He's just had an unfortunate go at things.
Yeah.
Like, and although, like, I think he's capable, like, I think if physically he can get back to being able to have the stamina to walk, like, dude, golf is one of those sports where anybody can win. Mm-hmm. It's been proven left and right. It doesn't matter how old you are, how good you are. Obviously, any guy that plays on the PGA level is good.
Yeah.
There's no question. But it's like, especially in those majors, man, it's anybody's ball game.
Yeah.
So if he can get back to the ability to walk and to maintain the stamina to play 4 rounds of golf, I wouldn't count him out at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, I think those odds and those chances and those moments are very few and far between at this point.
Yeah, and I think if he knows that, he's pretty sincere about those things that he says. And if he believes that he can come back, then he's going to come back. But if he believes that he's pretty much done and he's dealt with that, then good for him. You know, just at least recognizing it and just being okay with it, you know, at the end of the day. And I think it's good. His son is obviously growing up pretty quickly and a pretty dang good golfer himself. And
for sure.
So at least that will leave him some time to be around family. I think that'll be good for him. And I'm sure he'll be around the game of golf, which will be good as well. But it would have been cool to see him chase a couple more majors just to kind of get to winning as much as Jack did. And He's only a couple
We're
away.
we're not out of it yet. I mean, he could come back.
Yeah,
I'm not putting the pressure, but yeah, I think if he comes back and wins a major, it's literally going to be the circumstance of which I said before. He's going to be there's an honorary member and just had a good week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's it. And he's even talked about, like, in one of the things I was watching, he was talking about playing modified tees and stuff too. Like, I don't know how that'll be.
Well, apparently they're passing that somehow, right?
I have no idea. I don't know.
We need to do some research on that. But yeah, I think it's something that is being allowed. I don't know about on tour, but or how that looks yet. But but that may be potential for him as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, I think that's just kind of news to the golf world. By the way, I did listen to his interview today. Did you listen to any of that? Like, as far like
not this one,
dude.
Not the press conference.
The press conference was. The questions that the media ask these guys are so stupid. It's so ridiculous.
They always have been.
Yeah, it's so dumb. It's no reason that nobody wants to do a press conference.
Who was the I was trying to think of the woman, what her name was, that did the interview yesterday. Oh man, what is her name? I'm trying to find it on here. She did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
There has been a stigma for years about female sports analysis, female sports in coaching, yada, yada, yada. This girl did an absolutely phenomenal job in asking him, being real with him, stimulating the conversation. So if you didn't see that interview, I'm sure it was very close to what the press conference mentioned, but she did an absolutely phenomenal job. I think if you just look up Tiger Woods interview, you should be able to find it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she did phenomenal. But
yeah,
it's no new news that some stupid reporter has ask some dumb question again.
Yeah, and press conferences are the worst. They're searching for something, but too scared to really ask what they're asking for. But because they know that they're not going to answer it, it's kind of dumb. And the questions they were asking him about his injuries and about the accident were just kind of ridiculous. But yeah. Anyway, like one guy asked him like when he started walking, from the accident. It's like, who cares? And he was like, well, I was in a wheelchair for 3 months. I was on crutches for this long. And then they moved on. It was just kind of dumb. Anyway, that's my rant about, we can go on and on for days about how dumb the media is at times, but it is what it is. Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, you got anything else?
I don't think so. If you haven't gone to our YouTube channel under Birdie Free Golf and watched our last podcast with our friend Nate Lowe, first baseman of the Texas Rangers, please go watch it. Go share it to your social media. Tag us in it so we can get more exposure. We can get our guests more exposure, and we can get our reviews and our ratings and our likes and shares up on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. The reality is me and Donovan have goals for this thing, but the goals cannot be reached without followers, without subscribers, without likes and comments and whatnot. And the only way for us to get the likes and the shares and whatnot is if you do it. We can't do it for ourselves. And so we greatly appreciate you to share it, encourage your friends to share it, and like it and comment. And there's also a giveaway that's going on right now for that. And so if you go to our YouTube channel and you share that video to your social media and tag us in it, and then leave a comment on our YouTube video, whether it's good and you want to say, hey, this is great content, or you want to say y'all suck and probably should never do this again, either way is great. You'll be entered in for a chance to win a free round of golf for you and one friend to Smoky Mountain Country Club, where you'll play with me and Donovan in 18 holes, and we'll probably shoot a video, maybe a challenge of some sort. And it'll get put on our YouTube channel as well. So you'll become famous in a day just for winning the strong. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and you'll probably have the best day of your life playing golf with us.
Probably.
Yeah,
probably.
That's definitely.
You might learn something like what not to do.
That's definitely a reality for sure.
How not to break 80.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. Well, thanks, man. And make sure you do follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and you can also listen to our podcast on Apple and Spotify. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you all have a good week. Make sure you tune in to the Hero Challenge this weekend PGA Tour event starting on Thursday. I hope you all have a great week. See you.